Alternative Facts Chicago.
Chicago's #1 podcast.
Chicago. The city of Chicago. Alternative Facts Chicago.
Chicago's #1 podcast.
The city of Chicago. This is episode 78 of Alternative Facts Chicago, getting very close to our next live podcast on Tuesday. We can't wait. But this is B.Hun back again. We got my homie Cait on the line. How you doing today?
Hello, I am good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a good day. Week's flying. Getting close to my birthday in early March. So I love this time of year.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
How old are you turning?
It doesn't matter. I'm looking great. I'm in my 30s, looking better than ever. I would tell you this. I love getting older. I embrace my age. Every year is a great year. I'm never going to be the person like, oh, I hate getting to be the certain age. I love it. I embrace it. I feel like the best years of your life are still left to come. So whatever year I'm turning, doesn't matter. But just know I still look good.
Well, good. I mean, I wasn't going to make an old joke. I was so I knew how many candles spun on your birthday cake.
You're not going to give me a birthday cake.
Anyway. How do you know? Yes, I was.
Speaking of, how was your Valentine's Day?
It was great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, what'd you do? Tell us all about it.
Listen, I had a great evening. Chicago was magical with love in the air.
Oh, man. Sounds like you had a great night.
I did. I had a good night. Thank you for your concern. I got some awesome messages from people that listen that were definitely not shocked that I didn't talk about it on air. So.
Well, I'm trying to get you. You got to open up to the listeners. So hey, I
do open up to the listeners.
I tried, little by little, baby steps. How about that?
I do open up to the listeners. We talk about stuff. We're just not going to talk about that.
Friends of Cait, I'm sure they know how I feel right now. So we're on the same page. Even if I haven't talked to your friends, we're on the same page.
Oh, okay. They just laughed at you. They knew exactly what was
I tried. Hey, you will never get the answer if you don't ask.
There's plenty of other topics in the world that we can talk about. You just let me know when you're ready.
Well, we're going to do that right now. But first, how about you plug our social media?
Yeah, make sure you're following us for the link to the live podcast, for all of the news, for everything that we got going on. It's always on social media first. Facebook, Alternative Fact Chicago, same handle for Instagram. And on Twitter, it's A Fact Chicago. Of course, you can follow me, Cait, Cait, no Jenner, on Instagram, and Cait Hassett on Twitter.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at B.Hun1984. That's B-H-U-N 1984. You can email us alternativefactchicago at gmail.com. We've gotten some new sponsorship ideas that we're working out. So please keep it coming. We're always looking for more sponsors for the show. We appreciate that. Always Facebook, Alternative Fact Chicago. We have some new articles up there as well. We love the engagement. So please keep those coming. We're hosted on iTunes at Alternative Fact Chicago, Spotify at Alternative Fact Chicago, Google Play, SoundCloud, Podbean, wherever you can find us on your favorite podcast platform. We thank you all for the support. And now, of course, the day is almost here. Give the details one more time on our next live podcast.
Yes, we're counting down the days. We appeared at Chicago Podcast Festival together just a few months ago, and then we've been waiting to do it again. So Chicago live podcast, it's going down on Tuesday, February 26th. Got 5 days left to go ahead and get those tickets ahead of time. $12 online. The link is posted everywhere. It's going to be a really awesome event. We've teamed up with 2 other Chicago podcasts to bring you an awesome night. Plus, Safe House Chicago is just a really awesome restaurant. Thank you to them for hosting us. We got Sensible People in the house, a comedy podcast, a little PG-13. Have Ryan Raw Dog on here just a little bit telling us more about that. And then, of course, A Brew With You. They'll be there trying new beers and going to be an awesome night. We can't wait. Actually, just found out that anybody who buys a ticket and comes to the podcast that night is going to get an extra 15% off food and beverage. So even more of an incentive to come. Get your tickets early, and some of the proceeds are going to the Ronald McDonald House charity.
Absolutely. So 15% off is a great deal. The food there is very good. Obviously getting a deal on drinks too. So keep that in mind. And of course, even if you cannot make it, if you're not in the Chicago area, you can still support the show by going on our Eventbrite, which is posted on Facebook, and you can purchase a $12 ticket. Since some of the proceeds go to Ronald McDonald House, it's a great, great charity, a great, great cause. So, a reminder, if you cannot be there, please still buy a ticket in advance. It goes for a great cause. Ticket sales are going pretty well. I'm sure we'll get a lot more at the door. It's going to be a great night. Live shows are very fun. It's always good to see the people in person and do a live show. And A Brew With You, sensible people, they're all awesome people, awesome, very talented. So you're going to get a great night of 3 different but still fun podcasts. So we appreciate you all. Tickets are just $12. Please get them ahead of time.
So, see you there.
Yep. Now, before we get into our topics, let's promote our fan of the week. We skipped it last week. Honestly, we totally forgot about it. We're very sorry about that. We are back this week. This week is going to Alicia. You can find her on Instagram at ADELLO123. She always messages me on Instagram and Twitter, giving her thoughts on this episode, highlights, lowlights, things she agreed with or disagreed with. So that's why we do it. We always appreciate it. We never know who's specifically listening, but we always appreciate those that do and gives us feedback. So always let us know how we're doing. If it sucked, if we're doing a bad job, we do appreciate that as well. But shout out to Alicia. We appreciate you and thank you for being our fan of the week.
Yeah, shout out, Alicia. I just went and followed you on Insta, so I'm going to slide in your DMs and say hey.
We appreciate it.
For sure. All right, let's jump into some topics. We posted this on Facebook. Kind of big news just recently. This happened yesterday. Bernie Sanders officially announced that he is running for president in 2020 again. So if you... I don't know how you could have missed it. He was a Democrat that went up against Hillary, obviously didn't get that vote to go against Trump, and a lot of his supporters have been really upset about it for the past X amount of years. So now he's running in 2020. Kind of interesting how it all played out, because it was like will he run, will he not run? And then as soon as he announced it, he raised more than $4 million in just 12 hours after his 2020 presidential campaign. So over 120 million people joined to give him money to support it, and it's just literally crazy. But the question is, does he have a chance? Does he have a chance, first of all, of being our Democrat-elect, and then does he have a chance against Trump in a re-election?
So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. No and no. And I know there's a lot of people out there who love Bernie Sanders. My guy Woody, who listens to our show sometimes, he's been all on Facebook the last 48 hours, hyping him up, saying about time he's going to do this. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but Bernie Sanders is about 25 plus years too old to be the president of the United States. He could be a great candidate. He has a lot of good policies. He's for the people. He's for like the inner cities. He has some great ideas. But I do not want to be one day him up in a meeting or giving a speech and have a heart attack because he's 80 years old and he's the president of the United States. Unfortunately, I do not want my president to be 80 years old. I'm sorry. He's a great person. If he had these same policies about 25 years ago, I would be all for it. I think he's a great man. He's done some great things. The fact that he's got, I think I saw a stat today said they're up over $6 million raised as of this point. So he does have backing. Who knows where the money's coming from? Who cares? I don't think he's going to win. The question will be, if he does not win, then who? But overall, I just don't see him being able to beat Donald Trump, even if he is the main Democrat candidate. So the thing with him is going to be a little bit different this time. He was the underdog candidate. He may not go into this race as the underdog candidate from the Democratic side. So whatever you saw from him was mainly positive because all the negative feedback came from Hillary Clinton in her race. So if he's more of like the go-to candidate this time, they're going to find a way to drag him to We'll see some negative things, but long story, less longer. No, he has no chance. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's funny that you pointed it out because, like, for anybody that doesn't know, he's 77 years old. And we're talking an election that's still a year and some change away. And then we're talking a 4-year presidency. And we saw what presidency, how it aged Obama over 4
Right.
years. So I can't imagine a 77-year-old. And we also talked about that on Facebook. So interesting. And I want to correct myself because I had said, I'm sorry, that he raised $4 million in the first 12 hours from 120, I think I said million people, but it was 150,000 people, individuals that contributed to that. So a great amount of money. Before that, Kamala Harris had raised $1.5 million in the first 24 hours. And that was like a big deal. So just kind of to show you what the difference is. But I think, I don't really know what's going to happen, to be honest. I think what is going to hurt Sanders in this race right now is that back in 2016, when he announced his first election, you know what I mean? He was different, and he had all these radical liberal messages, and a lot of the people that drug him through the mud did so because he whipped out the word socialism, and, you know, Americans are so scared of that word, and I definitely understand it. But I think in 2016, his ideas were like out there, and they were crazy, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to change America. And I think that's why a lot of people were like on his butt. And like right now, that's not that crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Other candidates in the mix right now that are pushing similar and even often liberal messages, the same stuff that he was pushing, but not calling it socialism. So at this point, I think it's too early in the game to really know what's going to happen. I don't think that age should be what stops him. That there is going to be another candidate that's going to be younger and probably have similar ideals. But I don't know. We'll have to see, because $6 million in the matter of 24 hours is a lot of money. And I mean, I do believe that people hate Trump enough right now to put somebody like Bernie Sanders in office.
For sure. We just need some young meat in the office. And the pause
Meat?
that sounds terrible. So I definitely draw a pause on that one. But no pun intended there. But I just feel like when you think of the United States, you think of the country, even, you know, Donald Trump's on the older side. And you know, you see people who could potentially run, like Joe Biden. I saw something about John Kerry. Like, these guys are mid to late 70 years old. Like, we just need someone younger, fresh ideas to, like, lead the country for the next, 4 to even 8+ years. And if someone's going to get Donald Trump out of the office, it has to be a sure bet fire person. And honestly, I'm just not sure that Bernie Sanders is that guy, or he would have got the nomination 4 or 5 years ago. So we'll see. I'm skeptical. I think he's a great person, but overall, no.
Yeah, I also just think that we didn't really know how bad our country was as a whole 4 or 5 years ago, but Trump has brought that to light. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. All I can say is he better have a good AF vice president, just in case.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll see what happens. We'll more to target. If he doesn't get the nomination, who would it be? We'll see more nominees coming to the forefront, I'm assuming, over the next few weeks here as we get close to the primaries coming up here in 2020.
Right.
Awesome. So be on the lookout for that. Switching gears here, got to get into some NBA Allstar Weekend. This past weekend, all the players are on break right now. I think the first game's back after the break start on this Thursday. All-Star Weekend was an interesting weekend. You have the skills challenge. You have the rookies and sophomores game. You have the 3-point shootout. You have the dunk contest. First, asking you, Cait, did you get to watch at least some of the weekend's festivities? What were some highlights, lowlights, and does NBA All-Star Weekend even matter any longer?
Yeah, I mean, I always watch the game. It's just fun to watch the best of the best more so play together than play each other. That's always like my favorite thing, but it was just a really good weekend overall. I always like the slam dunk contest, but the issue is that it's like almost like the best and the worst part of the weekend. Like, I feel like it's gotten so watered down as time has gone on. It's like a failure all at one. I mean, we saw some awesome dunks. We saw Diallo over Shaq. I mean, we saw some good stuff, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a failure because they don't set it up right. I think what they're doing is they need to make like an elimination kind of thing going on, like a bracket. People will actually pull out like really good moves, but it's like the sideshow of the event. It's not supposed to be like the main focus, and the last thing you need is somebody going out there doing something stupid and getting hurt during All-Star.
Right.
So I see both sides of it.
Yeah, we're just the way the slam dunk contest and All-Star Weekend is now. It's kind of a tell of where we are in the basketball landscape. Like basketball has kind of changed to where more offense, shooting threes. Like every player can shoot threes. Even centers can shoot 3-pointers now. And ironically, the last couple of years, what's been the best part of All-Star Weekend in my mind has been the 3-point shootout. Like having Steph Curry, Devin Booker, like it's very exciting. The crowd's like into it. You know, the players actually are making a lot of shots. Like most of the best players are getting over 20 points per round. So I think that's just more exciting. Maybe they should have that start going last to kind of switch it up because, like you said, the dunk contest it's kind of watered down. It's kind of run its course. Dennis Smith Jr. was the best guy in the dunk contest. He didn't even win it. He missed a lot of dunks toward the end, so it kind of like watered down his performance. Miles Bridges went into it thinking, he could have possibly been the best person. He got knocked out the first round and didn't do well. So the best people you want to win it didn't even necessarily make the finals, or if they didn't come through. So it almost like not ruined, but it kind of watered down what the dunk contest should be, and this all the props and things like that. I feel like people just don't necessarily want to see that. So I think the 3-point contest is by far and away the best aspect of the weekend. The actual game itself, it kind of, it's run of the mill. Like the first half, they just score a lot of points. No one plays defense. The second half is when the best players start trying. And of course, LeBron's team was way better than Giannis. So of course, they ended up blowing them out at the end. So it was what was expected. It was fun to see. But it's just a weekend and doesn't necessarily really matter. So if that's the case, like, does any All-Star Weekend matter? Like, what's your thoughts? Like, is baseball the best? Is NFL the best? Or what would you say would be the number one genre or sports in terms of All-Star Weekend?
I mean, I just think that they're all kind of lame now. That's how I've been feeling in the last few years. I mean, just to be honest, it's like it's like that they kind of don't really take it that seriously. It's just like to make money. So I don't know. It's not that fun. Like I feel like it's super fun in theory. Like, oh yeah, like the best of the best, and they're playing with each other, and it's like almost like you can see like your fantasy teams come to life. But at the end of the day, it's just all staged. It's like the same way I feel about reality TV. You know what I mean? It's just like it's
right,
100% real. They're not like really playing their hearts out. So it is what it is. It's just it's
absolutely. So you kind of think that. Like, I guess with other sports, I feel like Major League Baseball probably has the best. At least they tried the hardest. Like, you can't really not try in a Major League Baseball All-Star game because you'll probably get hurt. So I think that actually, it has more like a realism effect to it. The games are more low scoring, so the quality of the game in terms of like home runs is not as well because the best pitchers are in that game. So I get it, but I feel like the players tried the hardest. With the NBA, they don't try until the end of the game. The Pro Bowl for the NFL, they should just scrap that because it's horrible. No one tried. Like, the running backs are playing defensive end. Like, centers are playing quarterback for plays. Like, it's just a silly exhibition game. They should get rid of that overall. NHL has a pretty good game, too. Not that maybe most of our listeners probably don't watch it or follow the NHL, but they're just pretty good. But overall, I like you said, I think All-Star weekends are just watered down. They're just entertainment, but no one takes them seriously any longer.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever watched baseballs, actually.
Really?
Yeah, now that I think about it.
It's actually fun. Well, they used to do it. I don't know if this is, you can fact check me or not, but for a while what they did is that whoever side, like National League or American League, whoever won the game, that side with American League, like whoever made the World Series for the American League got home field advantage. So that was kind of a way to make it more serious and get people to actually really try. So that was a little bit of a change. But I'm not sure, but I heard that they might have taken that rule away again. So we'll see if that affects people's performance for this next season.
Lame. They're ruining it.
Yeah, so we'll see. It was fun, but overall, I think the weekend as a whole is a miss for me.
Yeah, I can agree with you. Hey, speaking of baseball, some big news this week that you probably heard about, and of course we previewed it on week before last episode. Manny Machado finally made a decision. He signed a $300 million over 10-year contract with the Padres. A lot of people were surprised about this move. It went through on Tuesday. Surprised not only that he went to the Padres, but that he didn't come to the White Sox. Were you shocked?
I'm very shocked. I didn't even know that, he was in the running. The Padres are in the running. and maybe I missed it. I'm sure they were probably on like a list of 10 teams, but when they had the final list come out, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see the Padres on it at all. Like, obviously, the Yankees are on the list, the Chicago White Sox are on the list, and other major market teams. For San Diego to sneak in there and essentially steal one of the best players in the game is awesome. And San Diego may not necessarily be a sexy pick for Major League Baseball teams. They're very up and down as a franchise. For me, I'm cool with it because if I'm going to San Diego, it's an awesome city. Like, it's like 70, 75 and sunny year round. Like, it's a great place if you want to like expand your career, just chill out, play baseball in California. It's a great place to go. Talent-wise, they're definitely getting better. They're definitely improving. If I'm one of the top players, I may not have chosen them, but hey, 10 years, $300 million playing in San Diego. Kudos to Manny Machado. Kudos to the San Diego Padres for an office for pulling this off. No one expected it to happen, but shout out to them. They did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was really surprised. I really thought the White Sox were going to have him. You know, obviously they only offered him $250 million over 8 years, but there was a lot of other options in there that would have increased the value of the deal to be over $300 million. So I'm not really 100% sure, and he hasn't been vocal about why he chose the Padres, but I think a lot of people in their minds are thinking this was a miss. I'll just have to see how the season goes out. The Padres have been stacking their team, and so we'll just have to see how this season goes. I would have loved to see him in Chicago personally, but
right.
What can do about it now?
With that being said, obviously Bryce Harper's still out there. You never see great players of this caliber go this far into the offseason as spring training is essentially starting or about to start.
Right.
So he still doesn't have a team. Where the hell is he going to sign at?
I literally have no idea. Dodgers?
Yeah, I don't know.
One of the Dodgers?
So two of the best players end up in California. That'd be crazy. Talk about taxes on two, $300 million contracts.
Right.
That'd be nuts. So I don't know. They're in the running. I know it sounded like he turned down a large offer from the Yankees. It sounds like the Cubs are off the list. I don't know what's going on with Philadelphia. So I don't know. It could be the Miami Marlins for all I know at this point. I don't think anyone knows right now like where he's going to go. So it'll be curious to see, like I said, with the season starting soon, he has to pick a team within the next 3 to 5 days. I feel like this can't carry on into next week.
Yeah. I wonder, he knows where he's going. So why are they waiting so long? Gotta know.
You would think maybe him and Manny Machado, they probably had secret meetings behind closed doors, kind of like saying it out. You sign this day, and I'm going to pick my team and sign. So they probably both have known for a while, but when you're dealing with contracts that large, it's all chess moves in life. So who knows what's going on? But I'm sure at this moment, he probably knows what team he's signing with.
Yeah, I think he's known for a while.
Cool. So we'll talk more about that maybe on the live podcast if he picks a team there. So I'm very excited for that. But speaking of live podcasts, we are going to have Blake from A Brew With You on Everything Chicago, and then Ryan from Sensible People on Everything Chicago. So that is coming up next. But before we do that, we should definitely pay some bills. So this portion of Everything Chicago is sponsored by the Wrigley Report. Cubs fans, if you're looking for the latest Wrigley renovations, updates, team news, player analysis, and overall Cub news, look no further than the Wrigley Report, your source for all Chicago Cub news. You can find them on all social media sites at the Wrigley Report. Once again, that is at the Wrigley Report. So we'll be right back. Everything Chicago. Can't wait to talk to the guys, and we'll be back. So we are back. This is our Everything Chicago segment. B.Hun here with Alternative Facts Chicago. And we are very excited, as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode. We have our next live podcast coming up on Tuesday, February 26th. That is just 5 short days away at 7 o'clock. The doors will be open at Safe House Chicago. Just a reminder, you can get your tickets right now. Only $12 online. The Eventbrite's everywhere. We'll have it posted again to you as well. But right now, we're going to have 2 quick segments. First off, we're having Blake from A Brew With You podcast. If you never listened to their show, make sure you check it out. They are hilarious, fun. They will be on our live podcast as well. So wanted to have them on for a few minutes to talk about their segment for the live show. So Blake from A Brew With You, welcome to Alternative Facts Chicago. How you doing today?
Doing well. AFC. How's you guys doing?
We're doing well.
Good.
Good. Do you guys get called like AFC at all? I kind of like that.
Yeah, like we call ourselves that, I think. We just coined that. Like when we get lazy and we want to shorten it, we do it. But no, the world doesn't call us that.
I know.
Well, can I start?
I
really like it.
Yeah, you could. And I like to put AFC instead of spelling it out. Like, you have no idea. Spelling out Alternative Fact Chicago is tedious all the time.
Yeah, you got to hashtag that, like hashtag AFC. I'll do that for my next post. I'm going to do that for the next live show.
That sounds good.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited to have you on the show, and we're really excited for Tuesday's live podcast event. We've been tagging you in stuff and, directing people over to y'all's podcast. But for anybody who hasn't listened to A Brew With You before, can you tell us a little bit about y'all and what they can expect to hear on Tuesday when they come out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Brew With You is what I like to call kind of like breaking bread. It's no different than meeting up with a friend at a bar. We tried beer for the very first time, beer we never had before, but it's not a show about beer at all. We just talk about it for a couple minutes. Hey, this is something new. And then we get to know our special guest or talk about anything that's trending or any hot topics or anything that's going on with our lives. And then towards the end of it, we have a bunch of variety of games that we played, a bunch of original games that we play, and just to kind of end on a fun note and just kind of like when you're at a bar and you had a couple drinks and you're having some fun, you just kind of get a little fun at the end. So, and at the very end of the show, we rate the beer and then call it a wrap.
Nice. So
awesome.
There's gonna be beer at the show as well too, or what's gonna happen on Tuesday?
Yeah. Well, see, we're not sure exactly what we're gonna have. We're gonna talk to Safe House, and they're even awesome and totally compliant, helping us with what varieties they'll have there. So we want to help them out too with what we're drinking, but we'll leave that as a surprise, and hopefully we'll get the crowd to join in on the fun, and hopefully we can get a rating at the end.
There you go. And I know this is not your first live podcast, so give, our listeners a little background on how long, you and your co-host Jeff have been doing the show and how many live podcasts that you've done as well.
Yeah. The show is about 3 years old. We're just approaching 175 episodes. We're a weekly podcast. So we go about an hour, and we do some extra bonus features. If you go to patreon.com/BigDoBlake, you can be a patron of the show and get some extra bonus content. We do like a pre-show or a post-show that we kind of talk another topic or two when we're that's not live, that we just put it exclusively on Patreon. So it's we're gonna have a special guest. I'm gonna drop this now. We just got it confirmed yesterday, but we're gonna have Rufio from the morning show, Fred and Andy morning show from Kiss FM. And if you listen to Kiss FM in the mornings on iHeartRadio, it's that guy who laughs always in the background, always chimes in. So very excited to have a big guest from Chicago to be our special guest for the show.
Nice. That's awesome. We're excited that you guys are coming. We're excited to meet Rufio. It'll be really cool. What's your favorite part about a live podcast for anybody that hasn't been to one before?
My favorite part of a live is it's just fun to get an immediate reaction, to get an immediate response. And I just realized I didn't really answer your last question. We've done about 4 or 5 live shows before, from Taste of Chicago to the Storefront Theater in Wicker Park. I've been in the acting and comedy community for about 8 years, so you make a lot of connections and a lot of people who run theaters and a lot of shows throughout the entire city. So, but doing a live show, it's you can't just sit there and talk. You got to interact with the audience, and you got to play some games, or you got to really engage with the audience and how they're feeling, and base up the reactions and what's working, what's not working. So you got to be on your toes, but it's good to get the audible responses and actually some interactivity with it. So it's a rush, but it's fun.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're excited to have you, doing our first live show with you guys. I know we've done a few in the past. This will be Sensible People's very first live podcast, and we're all doing this together, 3 different unique shows that's, putting this on together. So I'm proud to do it. I know you are as well. So is Cait too. So before we get you out of here, please, for our listeners who want to check out your show in advance before Tuesday, where can they find you on social media? Where can they find you on iTunes or, wherever your podcast is located?
Yeah, you just search Brew With You, at Brew With You, pretty much everywhere. It'll pop up on iTunes, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, all the major, podcast outreach services. I think we're accepted on iHeartRadio now too.
Nice.
It's just we're popping up everywhere. On Spotify, we just got on there too. So at Brew With You, and then if you ever want to get a little extra bonus content or check out more behind the scenes stuff, you can go to patreon.com/BigDealBlake to become a patron and just check out more of the work that goes behind the show.
Awesome.
I'm really pumped to meet you guys because, we've been doing all this talk behind the scenes and all this. Just like, let's finally time to sit down and chat and have a beer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm excited to have a drink with y'all.
Yeah, for real. So I love you guys' show, too. Since we started this collaboration, I've been listening to you guys weekly, and you guys some good stuff, too. So I'm looking forward to what you bring to the table as well.
That sounds good. So this has been Blake from A Brew With You. We'll see you Tuesday, Safe House, Chicago, 7 p.m. Thanks for joining Alternative Fact Chicago tonight.
All right, thanks, AFC. See you on Tuesday.
See you then.
All right, so the other podcast joining us on Tuesday at our live podcast at Safe House is our good friends, Sensible People. They are a comedy podcast, really crazy and out there, super fun, and we are really excited to welcome Ryan to the show today, one of the people on Sensible People, and so he'll be out there Tuesday. Ryan, how's it going?
Very good. How about yourselves?
Good. We are good.
Good.
Today in Chicago, we've been counting down the days to the live podcast. Is your whole audience really excited?
Yeah, we can't wait for Tuesday. We're really excited. Our first live show, and hopefully this is one of many. And we're also really excited to team up with you guys and brew with you. And I think it's going to be an awesome event for all three podcasts.
It'll be a great night. So for those of our listeners who have never, heard of Sensible People or listened to the show, you definitely should. But since we have Ryan on, just, give our listeners a quick background of your show, the style of your show, some of the things you talk about for our listeners of Alternative Fact Chicago.
Yeah, so we are a comedy podcast. There's three of us. It's myself, Taylor, and Mandy B. So two guys and a girl. We launched in October of 2017. So just going over about a year and a half now. And we just talk about everyday type of life. We bring in interviews from, social media stars to every walks of life from Chicago sports fans. And we just have fun with it and do different games, different segments, and just try to get our audiences involved and relatable as possible. And I do have to mention, it's not too family friendly. It gets a little raunchy, but that's what our fans like about our show.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because we keep calling you Ryan, but it's actually Raw Dog Ryan, right? Did I make that?
Yeah, you know what it is, but I didn't give myself that name. Other people gave me that name, but yeah, I go as Raw Dog on Sensible People.
Okay, I didn't know if you were gonna explain that or we were gonna.
You know what?
Share.
Well, if you listen, you'll understand, and hopefully you come out on Tuesday night and you'll see why they call me Raw Dog.
Awesome. So,
oh man,
obviously tagging you in social media, and our people are excited to meet you. But for anybody that hasn't listened to Sensible People, what can they expect Tuesday?
They can expect, so we have an awesome show planned on Tuesday. We want to do, so since this is a live show, we want to get the audience involved. A lot of our segments that we have written up will have interaction with our fans. We do have a surprise at the end we're going to unveil as well. And a couple of our staple segments that make us tick will also be unveiled at the live show.
Surprises. All right.
Yeah, so hope you guys are nervous for that.
I'm a little nervous, yeah.
I know. I'm kind of curious when you say by surprises, but we'll have to prep the audience that it may not be a PG-13 show at all that night.
Right.
Well, I mean, in Titanic, they showed PG-13, so maybe PG-13.
Awesome. So, give the audience, it's your first live show. If you guys done live shows before, what can they expect, on Tuesday?
I think what they can expect is the same laughter and engagement that you listen to our show every other week, twice a month, and it's just going to be bigger, badder, and better.
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've checked out you guys' show quite a while. I was even a guest on your show once in 2018. It was hilarious time. You guys have a lot of fun. Your chemistry is great. You like to play, obviously to your audience very well. So you three have a good thing going, and we're excited that, our listeners as well get, to see you in person for the first time on Tuesday. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, it's nice. Each of us co-hosts has a little bit different background. We're just, normal everyday people. So that's why a lot of people have reached out for really relatable content. And, we bring stories of every type of background, and it's just a lot of fun.
Cool. We love it. So if people want to check out Sensible People before Tuesday, where can they find you?
So you guys can find us. Our episodes are pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts. So Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. Recently just got into iHeartRadio. I think I mentioned Spotify, but anywhere where you listen to podcasts, Podchaser, you can find us. And then also on social media, we pump out, a lot of video work and a lot of content, comedy related on Instagram, which is Sensible People, Twitter, also at Sensible People, and Facebook page. You can find us at Sensible People, and YouTube as well.
Cool. Love it.
Awesome. That was perfect. So we appreciate you coming on Alternative Facts Chicago. We are very excited for Tuesday. A reminder to the audience, you can go get tickets now on our Eventbrite. I'm sure Sensible People has one too, as well as A Brew With You. So we appreciate you, Ryan. We're excited to see you again on Tuesday. And, of course, thank you for joining Alternative Facts Chicago tonight.
Hey, no problem, babe. Before we go on, are we going to rip a shot Tuesday night?
You better do like 3 to 5.
All right, I'm in.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining the show.
All right, see you guys.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey, no problem.
Huge thank you to Blake from A Brew With You and Ryan, Raw Dog Ryan, from Sensible People for joining us on our Everything Chicago segment brought to you by Wrigley Report. We're so excited. Tuesday, live podcast, Safe House Chicago. Tickets on sale now. Come meet these guys in real life, hang out with us, enjoy some drinks, and don't forget 15% off food and beverages purchased that night. So join us there. Right now, let's jump into quick hits. We got to take a second to thank our sponsors, our friends over at Posh by Amani. It is amazing women's boutique based out of Houston, Texas. Just opened their second location, and it's serving women one curve at a time. Check out their inventory online, poshbyamani.com, and also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Posh by Amani. So some news recently, we talked about it on the last episode, and I feel like we've talked about it twice now, this whole Jussie Smollett thing. Obviously, he got jumped here in Chicago, what he called a hate crime, and now it's been out that, he faked it. He faked it all. So with this out in the news, right in the middle of Black History Month, if I do say so myself,
right?
Is Jussie Smollett canceled for good? Why did he do it? What are your thoughts?
Man, and the funny thing is we both almost predicted this, and not just us. I mean, I think a lot of people call it BS. And It was funny when he was on Good Morning America last week, they had mentioned that a lot of the hosts or people there, after it went off air, they even knew for sure that he was lying and had made it up. So I'm not sure what his thought process would be. Allegedly, his character was getting, I don't know if that written off of Empire or scale back on, immensely. And I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched Empire in about 3 seasons. I know everyone used to watch it like the first and second season, and then it slowly fell off. I'm sure the ratings aren't as good. I'm not sure. Don't fact check me on that. But, regardless, the show just isn't what it once was, and maybe his character isn't. So they were saying he was kind of do this to kind of get his name back out there, in the media, or just, more of a popular figure to help him on the show. Not knowing that faking a crime is, fraud, and, it's a felony. And honestly, they're going to make an example out of him in Chicago and charge him for this. So I'm not sure if he'll ever do jail time or what will happen. He'll get on probation. But this type of thing is really almost going to ruin his career. This is the simple fact that he, made a hate crime into a joke, and it backfired on him. Called himself the gay Tupac. That was just silly. If it actually really happened, we were all for him. People supported him. So many people had his back on this. And now they have to backpedal and say this guy is an idiot. So I don't know who gave him the idea, if it was his management team or what, but they all screwed up. That's Clown of the Year moment, and he is finished. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm just like amazed. Like, I just really can't even believe that this happened. Like, every single week when we're talking about like women falsely claiming rape and this, that, and the other, and I'm always like, I always will believe victims. And I feel like this is why so many people don't. Like, why? Like, you just literally set all of America back 2 steps by this. I don't understand what was possibly going through his head. Like, we're in this world right now where everybody's uber sensitive. This is on top of everybody's minds already. You know, young black men being in Chicago and dealing with the police, and you just made a mockery out of everybody. And it's just, I mean, it's just like ridiculous. And I will say, like, when after the last episode that we had talked about it, and I had gone and looked up like where it was that he got jumped, it was in Streeterville. Like,
Right.
You were chilling in Streeterville. Like, that's when we all really should have all known. So
Right.
it's just sad. I definitely think his career's over. He has no right to ever work again. I hope he goes to jail. I hope they find everything in any way to just pin him for this and get him in trouble, because I wasn't even like a huge Empire fan anymore, but I'm like astonished and I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, that's crazy. So he's screwed. I'm very invested in this to kind of see the fallout of what happens next, but we both called BS, from weeks ago when the story first reported. So shame on you, buddy. But switching gears tonight, or by the time you hear this, it would have played. But I just want to get your predictions. Huge college basketball game tonight, Duke versus North Carolina. Who do you got winning the game tonight?
So I'm going to go with Duke. That's my prediction. Obviously, Duke is ranked number 1, North Carolina number 8. So that would be part of the reason. But, I will just say that I think Duke's freshmen are really talented, and that's why I'm going with it. I love how North Carolina has improved this season. I think that they're even going to be better by the time March rolls around, getting closer to the tournament. But, as of right now, everybody wants to see the Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish. But I'm excited for this Trey Jones, Kobe White matchup. I think Duke have it, and that's my pick.
Yep. So I got to agree with you tonight. I think the game's at Duke. So for that reason, Duke is going to win. Like you mentioned, their freshmen are amazing. I've always been a North Carolina fan. From the simple fact that I love the colors. I always wanted to go to North Carolina as a kid because of their North Carolina blue colors. Like, that was literally the only reason. Obviously, it didn't happen, but still, I've always been a fan of their program. So I think North Carolina will win in North Carolina when they play next. But yeah, definitely Duke tonight is going to win. Speaking of, I know since we're talking about rivalries, Duke, North Carolina is one of the best rivalries in sports. Do you think it's the best rivalry in sports? And if not, what is your favorite or best rivalry in all sports, college or professional?
I mean, it's definitely top 10. It's definitely up there, but I'm going to go with the best rivalry in sports is obviously Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers. I mean,
oh my God.
Team has won more championships, 13 for the Packers, 9 for the Bears. There's no rivalry that's placed more players on the Hall of Fame. Not to mention they had the legendary coaches, obviously Lambeau, Papa Bear over at Green Bay. We got Lombardi and Ditka. So I'm just personally saying it's Bears Packers.
That's definitely a personal thing, because no way in hell anyone outside of Chicago fans think the Packers and Bears is the greatest rivalry in sports. No offense.
Well, it's also one of the oldest. It's also one of the oldest original NFL teams. So I'm just saying, I think that people outside of here would agree with me. Just not you.
Okay. That's fair. So people probably would think I would say Michigan versus Ohio State is the greatest rivalry in sports. I would say that if Ohio State didn't own Michigan in football the last 15 or so plus years. So can't say that right now. Got to call a spade a spade. I'm going to go a different pick, and I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go baseball, Major League Baseball, New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox. Whenever they play each other, those games are crazy. Whenever they play in the playoffs, the series is crazy. I'm going to switch it up. Like, it's nothing like a great baseball game with the true rivalry, even though the games are long. Every pitch is intense. Every out is intense. So I'm switching it up. I got to go Yankees, Red Sox. If it was the NBA, there's really no rivalry in the NBA. Like, Lakers and Celtics used to be, but not now.
Lakers and Celtics, yeah. I mean, historically.
Like currently, like when they play right now, I guess it may be now because the Lakers have LeBron and, Boston has Kyrie, but historically, I mean, right now, so that's why I'm saying Yankees, Red Sox still is the best rivalry out there.
I feel you. All right, moving on to some music news. So Bruno Mars and Cardi B just dropped a brand new song. What's it called? Please Me? Right?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
So it's going to be a huge song, mainstream level. Will probably go number one on the charts. Cardi B, Bruno Mars, everything they touch turns to gold. So I get it. Very mainstream song. It will work on the radio. God call a spade a spade. And I love Cardi B, everything she does, but this song just ain't it, Chief. Like, unfortunately, it's okay. I'm not saying it's not a bad song. It's just not a high quality song. Like, you can tell that maybe Cardi B may be making a shift to her career to be making songs specifically for radio or for a certain market or for like anything like that too. But overall, I don't know if that song will do it for me. So curious to your thoughts. I know you're like a big Cardi B fan, but I really don't think that song is it.
I mean, it's a good song, but it's a pop song. It's exactly what you said. It's going to be a smash hit because it's Bruno Mars and Cardi B, and they're going to play it everywhere. And Cardi B's just at that spot in her career right now. She's like Young Money circa 2011. You know what I mean? She's Nicki Minaj back then, where like everything she touches just blows up, and that's just how it is. Super smart for teaming up again. It's going to be another smash hit, but I mean, she's just going down the Nicki path right now. She's just a pop star at this point.
Yeah, facts. And I hope she just doesn't keep going down that lane. Like, I love when she makes a dope rap song. You know, she can make the pop songs. I'm not saying don't do it, but I think this song just ain't it for me. But they'll probably remix it, you know, have other people on it. It'll be very successful, but I think she can do just a little bit better.
She will. She'll still make the song, just like Nicki would continue to make harder rap songs that didn't get radio play. That's just, I think that's what a woman in rap has to do. She has to
I hear that.
Top stations in order to get, you know what I mean, the listens, but she has to keep making harder music to get the respect. So
I hear that. Vladimir Putin get into a little bit of politics. He ratchets up his nuclear warning against the United States. A little surprising, seeing as, you know, him and Donald Trump seem to be boys and a friend. So not sure the meaning behind that, but should we as Americans be concerned?
Yeah, so Putin just announced that he's going to match any U.S. move to deploy new nuclear missiles closer to Russia by putting his own missiles closer to the U.S. I personally think that we should be concerned. In Washington, you know, the state department basically said that it's propaganda. This is designed to divert our attention from what Washington alleges are like Moscow's violations of the INF treaty. But I personally think that at no point should we should ever like count Russia out. Like, they're crazy. And I think that we should be worried.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of should be worried, but I feel like he's just playing chess right now or saying that for a bigger cause. Like I said, he's, you know, friends with Donald Trump. That, you know, they made a lot of backdoor agreements, and, you know, the fact that Trump always praises him and endorses him at every turn. I don't think he would actually go against that and go against the United States right now, unless something happens. They have a falling out here in the future, which for a guy like Donald Trump, that's 100% possible. So I think it's a chess move for a bigger play. I don't think he has any real plans to come after the United States anytime soon, but that's just me.
Awesome. All right, so we are looking forward to the Oscars on Sunday. Obviously, we know that there's no host. This is going to be the second show in Oscar history where there's not going to be a host after the backlash of the whole Kevin Hart debate and not being able to get him to make a second apology for homophobic slurs years and years and years ago. Do you care? Are you going to watch it? What do you think about there being no host?
Kind of weird that they're not going to have a host, but I'm assuming they're just going to have like different celebrities or actors or actresses, you know, intro people a different segment. So I'll watch it, probably just the beginning. I always like the opening monologue. Not sure if they're going to do one this time. So the Oscars are just so long. Like I stuck to the Grammys, but I couldn't get through all the Golden Globes. It's just a long night on a Sunday night. So I'll give it a little bit. You know, I'll check Twitter to see who won all the main best awards. Like, I wish they would do, like, best picture at the beginning, not at the end, because I'll probably be asleep by then. But not to make myself sound old, but they're just going to bore me to sleep. But we'll give it a shot, but I probably won't watch the entire thing. How about you?
No, I'm with Kevin Hart. I'm against the Oscars. I think that whole situation was a little ridiculous, and I've never been, like, a huge fan anyway. And I feel like now I definitely won't watch it because of that. So not my thing.
Fair enough. So That's been quick hits, and I ain't gonna lie, it's been a slow news week. We were like scraping bottom for topics, so it's all good. And the fact that it's not a crazy news week maybe means that everyone is in kumbaya moment, and it's not a lot of tomfoolery. So for that reason, I am okay with that. So we'll get out of here in a minute, but before we do, we should always end with our clown of the week. And I think you went first last week, so I'll go first this time because we have to have a moment of silence for all black men in America because for the first time ever, a black man has been caught cheating. And for the second time, the same person, Tristan Thompson. I don't know why, but he's the only black guy that keeps getting caught cheating. Like everyone else is faithful. I don't know. Maybe we have to trade Tristan Thompson because we're all stand-up guys as black men. And then he just keeps doing it and hurting our name. This time, Tristan obviously still with Khloe Kardashian. He got caught once. She stayed with them. They had a baby. All seemed well and good, like they were okay. And now stories are coming out that he cheated on Khloe Kardashian, not just with some random girl, with Khloe's sister, Kylie Jenner's best friend, Jordan Woods. So this sounds stupid. Like, what the hell were you thinking? Like, do you not think you were going to get caught? Almost so stupid to the point where it could be a fake story because I know Keeping Up with the Kardashians is filming. I think their show comes back soon. So what is small? I don't know. You never know, like, what them, like, the stories they may fabricate to help with the ratings because they've been known to do this for years. But maybe he's playing along with it just for the TV show. I'm hoping so. Because other than that, I think it's stupid. Like, how did he not expect to get caught? That is definitely clown of the week worthy. Tristan Thompson, you are not playing with LeBron James any longer. You're readily replaceable. You need to chill out, fall back, stop doing stupid things. Unless you wanted to get caught, which I can understand, but that was silly. You are the clown of the week.
You're not giving it to Kylie's BFF Jordan for up with her best friend's sister's husband?
Not really. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, she's in the wrong too, but has a girlfriend. I'm not sure. I don't think she has a boyfriend, so they're both in the wrong. But at the end of the day, he should have known better. He knew he was going to get caught, so he gets the clown of the week. And he's older, has a kid with the girl too, so I think for that he does get clown of the week.
Oh, okay. Just checking. So my clown of the week is this bride-to-be here in Chicago that they have not released her name, but she is 20 years old, planning her wedding, and she decided that she wanted everybody to be vegan, and she pulled a real like bridezilla moment and decided that nobody could come to her wedding unless they vowed it to be vegan. And she basically said forever, not just like for the day, like I'm not going to be serving food. She's like, I want you to be around for the rest of my life to share my memories with me. And I want you to give up meat and animal byproducts. So basically a lot of her family members are mad and they are refusing to come to her wedding, and she's going to have nobody there because she's an idiot. So she's my clown of the week.
That's crazy. I did read about that too. It's a little nuts.
This is super nuts. Like I've heard like bridezilla things before in the past. Like, sorry to any of my girlfriends that are listening that were true bridezillas. There was a couple of them, but if they had said something like this to me, I legitimately would have left. I would have been like, "Girl, bye."
Girl, bye. That is crazy. I hear that. So good episode. Love all getting to come on and chat with you. Thanks to Blake from A Brew With You. Thanks to Ryan from Raw Dog Ryan.
Right. We gotta get his name
right. Raw Dog Ryan from the Sensible People podcast. 2 great shows. Look forward to seeing them on Tuesday. Make sure you come out Safe House Chicago at 7 p.m. Tickets $12 in advance, $15 at the door. We will see you then. Cait, what do you got for our listeners before we get up out of here?
That is it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Cait, Cait, no Jenner, and on Twitter, Cait Hassett. Follow the podcast, post the news there. We also got links to the live podcast. You can buy your tickets now and not wait till the price goes up.
Yeah, people in Chicago, we know you guys are last minute. Tickets are going well, so don't get caught with them being sold out. But we look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed episode 78. We really appreciate you listening, getting our way, heading closer to 100 episodes. So we'll see you Tuesday. We love you. This is B.Hun, Cait, Alternative Facts Chicago, and we are out.
Bye.
Peace.